mechanics as quick as we can, and hopefully we'll get to throw a little bit at the end, all right? So guys, everybody, as you watch big league pitchers, you see everybody has a little bit different mechanics, but if you pay attention, they all kind of have the same philosophy. The philosophy being that they want to get to a balance point, they want to land in the same spot every time, and they want to follow through, okay? The reason we're doing that, we want to try and be as consistent as we can so we can throw the ball as accurately as we can, throw as many strikes as we can, throw as many balls down the zone as we can, depending on what you're trying to throw, okay? So that being said, one of the things that Bret and I agree on is that if you're a right-hander, kind of line up facing third base. The reason being is, I'm trying to throw to home plate here. If you have your feet on the rubber like this, you're stepping back, the first thing you're doing is bringing your body weight away from home plate. So it's counterproductive, okay? So try and line up so if you're a right-hander, facing third base, if you're a left-hander, facing first base. So that way all you're doing is you're taking a step to the side and you're just bringing your weight right up here to get to your balance point, okay? Now once you get to your balance point, you want to try and land in the same spot every time. The reason being, if you're landing in the same spot every time, you're repeating the mechanics every time, and you'll be more consistent with where your release point's going to be. All right, and that's where we create more strikes and more consistent strikes. Okay. So after we land with this foot, make sure we're pushing off this back leg and following through. The reason we're following through is we're creating more momentum going toward home plate, which helps us create more velocity and also alleviates stress from our shoulder, okay? Nobody wants to have a shoulder surgery. Bret's had 3, I've had 3. They're no fun. Especially right now, we both can barely throw a baseball. So you want to stay away from that. You want to try and stay away from seeing Dr. Andrews, okay? So make sure you're consistent. Landing in the same spot, pushing off, coming through. All right? Another thing that I'll let Bret talk more on, but make sure when we break our hands, when you break your hands out of your glove, you're reaching all the way down. We're extending your arm all the way down as far as we can and getting on top of the ball, out in front as best we can every time, okay? The reason we're doing that is we're trying to create as much velocity as we can, which I know you guys like to hear, velocity, right? So try and do that. Try and get the arm extended. When you're short arming the ball, if you're trying to throw a punch, you're just throwing a jab up here. If you're throwing a punch from down here, you're getting all the way around, you're able to throw a roundhouse punch, okay? So make sure you're reaching all the way down, extending that arm all the way down, all right? Another thing is try and keep your glove as consistent as it can be. Whatever you're doing with your glove. You see guys pulling their gloves away, you see guys keeping them in. Whatever it is, be consistent with it, because your glove's going to control your body a lot of the way. Because if you're sitting here pulling your glove out here, what's happening? Your body's getting thrown to the side. Try and keep your glove in here, short and compact, so that you're keeping your body under control, okay? I'm going to let Bret tell you guys some other things. He's going to talk about how to create more velocity also.
So, as infielders, outfielders, catchers, and primarily me, I like to throw 4 seams. You guys should all, if you're playing an infield position or an outfield position, whenever you throw the ball, you should always focus on 4 seams, throwing it right across the seams there, not with the horseshoe, all right? Because what happens is the ball moves a little bit, you throw a 2-seamer. Primarily, it's supposed to move, as a right-handed pitcher, it's supposed to be a sinker ball, so it kind of moves away from a left-handed hitter. A left-handed pitcher would move away from a right-handed hitter. So that's the kind of the motion. So as an infielder, I don't want to try to throw the ball to first base and have it moving all over the place. I want that ball true. Same thing if I was an outfielder, I'm trying to hit my cutoff man. I want that ball to go straight and true. So it's always primarily focusing and practicing on picking the ball up 4 seams. So I threw 3 pitches. Threw fastball, curveball, and a changeup. What's a changeup? Oh, you like changeups? Yeah. So a circle change. So where my fingers bend right there, right at the very end where they bend, I like to keep those fingers right on the seam, so I had something to pull down with. So you you're on the lace, yes. Well, you've been doing a little studying, huh? I like that. Yeah, so you know what? Pedro Martinez held it right on his fingertips. He was a pretty good pitcher, and he would just let that pull down with it, get that reverse spin, and that slows the ball down a little bit. But you got to keep the same mechanics, because if you're not keeping the same mechanics, it's not going to. If you have to slow your body down to try to throw the changeup, the hitter's going to pick that up, and you're going to be able to step back and hit the ball. So it's important to have, like Brian was saying, is consistent with all your pitches. But so I threw the four-seam fastball primarily just to keep it straight and hit my locations. But I like to tell everybody I talk to that's learning how to pitch, and has done it for a little bit maybe, or maybe he's done it a lot. You got to make adjustments if the ball's high and low. And for me, if the ball's high or the ball's low, that's easy as a pitcher to make that adjustment. So say I threw 3 pitches, you're my catcher, and you had to reach up all 3 times and it's out of the strike zone high, it's because I'm letting the ball go too soon. So my problem with my curveball was I bounced my curveball a little bit more than I would get it in the strike zone. So I'd have to make that adjustment with my curveball. So if the ball's down in the dirt and I'm bouncing it, it's because I'm hanging on to it too long. So high in the strike zone, I'm letting it go here. Low in the strike zone, I'm letting it go here. So your ideal release point is right out in front of your face somewhere. So as a pitcher, you got to make those adjustments. Again, if you're throwing, you have a question? No? If you're high, make that adjustment down. If you're low, make that adjustment up, which is just your release spot. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Love it. Love it. Okay. Awesome. I like what he was saying. He's practicing a lot. What I used to do as a kid, I used to have a tire in the backyard hanging, and I'd practice throwing through the tire. I also had a block wall at the school, and I used to take tape, and I used to put it up in there and practice my pitching. So every time I'd throw the ball, I was a pitcher, and I tried to get in that strike zone. And then as soon as the ball would come off, I was a fielder. So as soon as you let go of the ball as a pitcher, you become a fielder. And if you're not in a good fielding spot, you got a good chance of getting hit with a line drive back up the middle. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So you know if it's a strike where it's bouncing back. Pitch backs are great. If you can get a pitch back, that's great. That's really helpful. Yeah. Every day? Yeah, that's good. So, and again, when we're playing catch, when I would play catch, and I learned this when I came out of high school, when I got to professional, I didn't go to college. What we would do with each other after we play catch and warm up, so Brian and I are partners, as soon as I get done playing long toss, you kind of throw it, you keep backing up, and then you work your way back in as you're playing catch. That's the way it should be going, your warm-ups, not just staying in one spot. But once we moved our way back in, we get about, so our mound was 60 feet 6 inches, probably get about 50 feet, so a lot shorter. And I'd have Brian get down on one knee, and I'd go all my pitches. So I'd fastball here, fastball here, fastball here, fastball here. Curveball, throw some curveballs to him, throw some changeups on each side of the plate. But that's another way of practicing each and every day you play catch, so you get the feel for all your pitches. So you don't have to get up on the mound to get a feel for your pitches. And you're still getting that work in. Yes. I didn't. I tried to throw a slider, and I'm glad you brought that up. I threw a curveball. I tried the slider. They tried to get me working, and I did too much, twisting the wrist and stuff. Tried to get the breaking ball further than what it's supposed to be. So the proper way of throwing a cutter or a slider is staying on top of the ball and letting the ball come off your fingers here, and pulling down, but letting it roll off your fingers. It's not twisting, because as soon as you start twisting with the cutter, the slider, and the curveball, as soon as you start, you're going to have elbow problems. You're probably going to have Tommy John. So then the curveball, the proper way of throwing a curveball is thinking fastball until you get up on top, turning the wrist sideways, and pulling down. So one way to practice on getting that good spin is just holding it in your hands and getting that spin. So I do this all day long and just spin and try to get that downward motion. Ideally, there's not too many guys that can throw. Sandy Koufax used to be able to do that. Kershaw does it a little bit, 12 to 6, so you want that ball breaking here. If you can get it from, as a right-handed pitcher, 1 to 7, 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock, if it's breaking from here to here, it's good. But you don't want that breaking ball, that curveball breaking this way, because that means you're getting around it and you're going to hurt your elbow. So proper curveball is on top and pulling down, not twisting. Same thing with the cutter and the slider. Then roll off your fingers. Right? You got, yeah. All right. Like it. Yes. I didn't have it. I had tendonitis, so it got inflamed, and I had to back off pitching for a little bit because it was sore, and then I just had to get rid of it altogether. So, velocity. Velocity is 3 things: lower body coming off the mound, driving off the mound. So I'm going to get velocity this way. The other thing is you got a little core work because you got to turn and pull through. The third thing is a rubber band. I take a rubber band and I go pull it at you. It's going to go so fast. If I go back this far, it's going to go even faster, right? So as Brian's saying, you got to get that arm extended, get it out. So you'll see big guys, first basemen in that, they can't throw the ball very well. It's because they can't get that range of motion in their arm. They can only get it to here and go so fast. So when you guys play catch, work on that. It's not playing catch flat-footed and just throwing it like this. It's working on getting the arm up and coming through. Again, if I was trying to throw the ball over the center field fence from home plate, I wouldn't go like this and try to throw it. I'm getting that tilt, right? I got the arm up, so Josh Beckett used to do it great. He would load up, he would have that backside loaded up, tilted this way, and then he would come up across and get down right through the ball to get that extra velocity. So if you can get that tilt, that's another good thing. Rotate. Thanks, guys, girls.